Our breaking news just a half hour ago. Oakland Mayor Sheng made her very first public comment today about Thursday's FBI raid at her home. She says she is innocent, and she says she had no prior knowledge of any investigation. And she also made an emotional vow to remain in office.
Yeah, and from what we understood from her remarks was that she took on a decidedly angry tone. She felt very defiant in saying that she is innocent. She has not been charged with anything. She has not been arrested. So really wanted to hammer those points home.
Yeah, she was quite indignant, as you mentioned. All right, we're going to check in with our reporter out there, ABC 7 News' Gloria Rodriguez, who was out there for the entire press conference. But first, listen to this.
I am your mayor. I am the mayor to all the Oaklanders who work hard, who are working overtime to do the right thing and to make the world a better place. And no matter how hard you strive and push and fight and stay positive, and that you don't give up because you believe in yourself and you know what you have to offer this world, that you just cannot catch a break. Well, guess what? I'm not going down like that. We're not going down like that. The people who voted for me deserve to have their voices heard and communities prioritized. I'm seeking the truth right now just as much as you all are. But I will not be bullied, and I will not be disparaged, and I will not be threatened out of this office.
Mayor Thao making those remarks, not taking any questions from the audience. Let's get back to ABC 7 News reporter Gloria Rodriguez outside of City Hall with more reaction to her remarks. Gloria.
Good morning, Dion, Kristen. You know, the mayor spoke inside City Hall about a half hour ago. Now her opponents are gathered outside City Hall right now, and they're calling on her to resign. One opponent telling me she should have spoken up earlier about the FBI raid. And of course, today, the mayor's news conference comes after that raid at her home here in Oakland last Thursday, as well as at other locations connected to California Waste Solutions. We saw agents taking boxes of evidence away, and sources tell ABC 7 News this is a public corruption investigation. Now, this was also the first time the mayor has talked since at least 15 people were shot near Lake Merritt. And her opponents say that this FBI investigation is a distraction. Back here live, they are talking right now. You could see many of those opponents are holding up signs. A lot of them also bringing up that a budget still needs to be passed here in Oakland. And again, they are calling on her to resign. The mayor, though, saying today that she did nothing wrong and that she's innocent. She says she has questions about the raid and what probable cause they had for the raid. And she says she is not going down like that. She even got emotional. She says she will not be bullied or threatened out of the office. Now, one of the opponents that I talked to here tells me that if she does resign, that in November, instead of a recall election, they would be electing a new mayor. And she says that would save the city a lot of money. Live in Oakland, Gloria Rodriguez, ABC 7 News.
All right, Gloria, thank you so much for that latest. And, you know, you also saw in that rally, there were some folks holding up some signs that seemed to suggest they're unhappy also with Nikki Fortunato-Bass, a supervisor who's an ally of a council member, I should say, who's also an ally of the mayor. So let's turn things over to ABC 7 News insider Phil Mateer. Phil, that is really interesting as well.
Well, what we're seeing here is in part a statement by the recall people that they want to shift the progressive politics of Oakland that they say has gone too far. And Mayor Sheng is the head of that group, but there are council members who are sympathetic to that cause. This was a very emotional mayor who took the stage today. In addition to saying she wouldn't be bullied out of office and that she is innocent, she also said that the timing of the FBI raid on her home was, as she put it, very troubling, and alluded to the fact that it came just after the recall initiative to go for a recall vote before the public was qualified, and that recall drive is being driven by billionaires in surrounding communities. And she sort of linked it all together in a way that inferred that possibly there was some large conspiracy or some group that was trying to get rid of her, and that she was going to hold fast and keep right on fighting. It was a strange mix of we're not giving up, and these people are after me. She said the FBI basically broke into her home and that she was scared for her life. And that the world appears to be pitted against her and that she can't get a break. I'm not sure if all of that is going to go over really well, but one point is she made very clear she's not planning on stepping down, although calls for her to step down may increase now.
Well, let's piggyback off of what you just mentioned about the raid itself. We saw federal agents there at her home for several hours on Thursday morning.
Yeah.
She made a point to say that the FBI should have reached out to her instead of raiding her home, that she would have worked with them. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that does not seem to be the nature of how a raid works, Phil.
No, it isn't, and there are different ways that the FBI can perform an investigation. One is they can come in and set up a time to see you, interview you, and possibly even make requests for documents or come in with warrants and search. The second one is a very public display, and it was the FBI showing up in the morning, and not only to her, and she made no mention of the other raids that had to do with the recycling owners of the recycling company that the Oakland has the contract with. So it was interesting sort of setup there that the mayor is trying to put forward, that somehow there is greater forces at work here. She also said that, how did the media know that the FBI raid was there? Well, in part because the neighbors saw it, and the neighbors spread the word, and the next thing you know, that's how it got out. So she sort of inferred that she was being set up for this scene we see here of the FBI coming out, that the media was somehow alerted, and that we showed up, and it's all part, like I said, of this very bad week or so that she's going through. She also said that going forward that the city would be passing a budget on time, and that the big deal to sell the Coliseum site, or the city's portion of that, was go through as well. I'm hearing different variations on that. My sources in City Hall say that the budget may pass, but the deficit is so large right now that it may not last. And two, that even if that land is sold, the money wouldn't be able to make up for the deficit this year. So she's facing some real pressures from all sides. Not to even mention the mass shooting at Lake Merritt on June 18th, which again happened within 72 hours of all this.